Ann Peters here, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm here to create our personal healing event for some of my patrons for June. So, first of all, I want to send out a big, huge thank you to all of my patrons for June. Thank you so much for your support, and I trust you've enjoyed the resources for June that you've decided to be a part of. This is the second last resource, and I've got the very last one happening tomorrow, and then all will be done and we'll reset for the 1st of July on Monday. So, this is our personal healing event, and the personal healing event is open to my patrons who pledge 50 US dollars or more for June. So when you pledge $50 or more, so if it's higher than 50 or 50, then you get access to this particular resource, plus all of the other ones that fall before the $50 mark. So you become a member, you can access the healing event tomorrow, all these other things as well as this. So the personal healing event, I have 6 people on the list today. And what I'll be doing with this is connecting personally with those 6 people. So I'll be connecting with each person individually, directly, for about 10 minutes. So 10 minutes doesn't sound like a lot of time, but actually we can do a lot in 10 minutes. I do my best anyway to be very much on point and make sure I'm very clear. That's providing the energy is coming through clearly, but for the most part, I try and be, I always try to be, but for the most part, the energy comes through nice and clear, and then I interpret that as best as I can. I'm quite very proactive in moving energy, so I do feel that we can do a lot in 10 minutes. So what determines who I'm connecting with first is I've got my little frog pot, and I've got all 6 people here in on these pieces of paper. So I'll be plucking names out of there over the next hour. Now, if you are waiting for your turn or you're not on the list, I do trust that you have still been led here for a reason. I get messages all the time and have for many, many years that people, because I used to do this on radio, I used to do it on internet radio before I did it on video. And I would get messages from all the way back then, those early days, with people saying that they felt like what I was saying for someone else was exactly for them and meant for them. So I do feel that there can be information or energy that comes up that you are meant to hear, even though it's not necessarily assigned to you. So keep that in mind, and while you're interested to be here, I trust you hang about and that you're happy to. And if you have to go at any time, then thank you for being here. So how am I going to connect? So what I'm going to do, hi Kismet, hi Jackie. So what I'm going to be doing with each connection, I'm going to be pulling a healing energy card. So I'm going to be starting each connection with a card and ending each connection with a card. Sometimes the cards I go into and other times I don't. It's just to me as a bit of a ritual in some ways of the start and the end of these connections so that I can go to the next connection quite quickly in this kind of scenario. So the validness of the card is in regards to how deep I want to go into the card varies depending on what I feel. Because often the energy that I'm feeling for the person will come in before I've even picked their card. So sometimes it's just a flash and then I'm straight into what I connect. So how I connect is just the way that works for me, and it might sound a bit weird, but it's the way that's developed for me over the last 20 years and longer, is that I know the configuration of my energy very well. So I know what it feels like to be here and be me right now. I know what that feels like in my body because I'm very self-aware. So when I'm connecting with people and I've got a name out here and I've pulled a card or I'm just thinking of the person, I start feeling new things happening in my body that I don't usually feel. So I take that as me. I imagine that I'm the person I'm connecting with. And I feel different things. I get visions and flashes and the energy works together really well. It's kind of hard to explain. I also know that whatever's loudest in the person's energy that I'm connecting with will be what gets my attention first. I don't hold back anything, because even if I tried, it blocks the flow, because I will get this thing that moves into this thing. So if I get this thing and I don't say it, well, it's not going to go into this thing, because I'm trying to control the energy. So I've got to share everything that comes up. So I try and do that as best as I can. So I think that's all I need to say. So let's start with this person. Hi, Judy. That's why you don't have any subscribers. Are you going to be difficult, Judy? Because you might want to go and do something else that you enjoy. So unless you want to be here, please head off. And we've got Jane. I'm connecting with Jane Corlett first. So Jane, please take a nice big breath and let's see what comes up for you. So the best card to start this connection is this one. It's from Healing Energy Cards Deck 2. And it's one step at a time. So there is a sense of patience here for you, Jane, with this particular card. Like, I can feel this sense of kind of sitting back a little bit in regards to your relationship with your life. You know, sometimes we're sort of on the tip of our toes and we're leaning forward into life, and other times we might be in the middle, and other times we just need to be on the back of our feet and just sort of sitting back a bit and just sort of watching and observing a little bit more, being a little less hectically active. And that's sort of what I'm feeling here. Like, this energy just wants to pull you back just a little bit, back onto the back of your feet, back into settling into your spine, settling into your body, and settling into yourself, and finding some calm, and finding this word integration. I also feel coming forward. We're sort of settling back and integrating all the shifts and the changes that you've been going through in these last few years, is what I feel, even probably since about 2020. So in this the decade so far, there's energy moving here in your throat chakra too, as I'm talking about this, and especially as we go back to like 2020 or around that time period, there's something really quite uncomfortable that's stirring in the throat. And I feel like there's been a challenge to your truth and a challenge to your life that sort of pushed forward around that time period. So over the last couple of years, that you've perhaps been battling with, or toing and froing on, or pushing and pulling with, to try and find your peace and try and find who you are in regards to what has shifted and what has changed. So the energy here in your throat is still getting my attention. So we're going to be at least looking at that deeper and most likely shifting energy out of here. So I'm seeing a cross. When I see a cross like this, it's like the crossing of swords. That talks about a conflict of sorts. So it feels like some sort of conflict. It could be a conflict that you also feel with yourself, or a conflict with your life. So it's like this clashing of swords, this conflict that sits here very much at the forefront of your throat chakra. And it does feel like it's right here at the front, right at the forefront, almost like this energy is so close to just sort of like you spit and it's out kind of thing. Like, it's just really close to the surface here, which is a really good sign, because some of the throat energy sits very deep, almost down at the heart. But this is sitting very much at the fore, so it might also be playing out reasonably loudly too at this time. I feel a wave of emotion as well coming up around this as I connect deeper with it. It like lifts up from your heart and up into your face and up. It just feels like this well of emotion, or this well of tears. And there is this sense of relief and release with this as you let go. And as you let go of these tears, or this grief, or this emotion that you've held on to, that's risen from your heart, there is also a release of burden that you carry that's carried here over your shoulders. So as you release this emotional energy, it sort of brings a relief and a release to your shoulders. So where you carry your burden, where you carry the weight of the world and the weight of things and the pressure that you put on yourself. So really letting that go and surrendering. And I see you dropping your arms beside you and just sort of letting all that energy sort of drip down your arms and drip out through your fingertips. and that weight and that energy, letting it go. And as you let go through your shoulders and through your arms, there's also a letting go feeling here in your solar plexus chakra that's just above your navel. This is your power center. So when we tend to feel powerless, or when we give our power away, or when we're feeling controlling or dominant, or we're feeling nervous, we sort of have energy that shifts in here. So there's energy also that's releasing through, and it feels very kind of drippy and oozy sort of through your solar plexus, as this almost like melting wax or something that's become hard, like butter or wax, or something that becomes hard when it's cold, and then when it warms up it sort of softens, and then I guess if it's on a vertical and it's a large amount, it starts to drip. So there's this dripping sort of oozing feeling of like a buttery waxy energy that's oozing down and dripping down through your solar plexus and dripping out and away. So there's a lot of this dripping energy. It feels quite thick, so it doesn't feel like really watery. So watery energy tends to connect with emotions, and even though this does feel liquid like, which we can tie with emotions, it doesn't feel like really watery. It feels gooier and thicker, so it has some substance to it as it sort of oozes and drips away. So really letting go of those old emotions and letting those drip and release from you. So especially your solar plexus and your fingertips as this energy drips away. So as it drips down to the earth, it soaks back into the earth and returns back to love, and just returns back to energy. So as I'm talking about all this, which is coming through very, very clearly, I'm already feeling energy that's moved in your throat compared to before. So with the shifting through the burdens and the releasing through your hands, and the shifting of releasing of power issues here in your solar plexus, is also bringing some relief here to your throat. So the energy doesn't feel so tense and so conflicted, and it actually feels a lot clearer here in your throat, even though I feel like there's a little bit more that we have to do here with your throat chakra. So just take a nice big breath, and as you breathe out, force all of that old air from your body, and see if you can imagine letting go of that energy that's just there on the surface, that's just there on the tip of your tongue, that's just there, just out of sight, and let it go. And breathe it out and away. And as you breathe it out and away, this energy opens up through your third eye and through your crown and through your head here. So there's an opening up here, and a clearing of energy through your third eye, which is helping clear your trust issues, and also this clearing around your crown and around your head, which is helping clear any connect or disconnection issues, we should probably say. So the opposite of feeling connected, so feeling separate or alone, and clearing and opening up through here. And it feels very sort of close to your head, almost like a ray of light radiating around this area, just helping clear and open your third eye and your heart. So this feels nice and bright and slightly golden as it sort of radiates around your head. The energy that's been dripping from your shoulders and down your arms and your fingertips has stopped, and I see you bringing your hands like this way, like palms up now, and just relaxing them, palms up. And this feels like a receptive move, and this receptive move feels important, because I feel like there's a lot of energy and a lot of things that want to come into your life, Jane. And so this act of having your palms up like this feels very receptive, like an opening of sorts. And as you open your palms in this way, you also open your heart, because your heart is linked to your arms. So when you stretch your arms out, it's like your arms are an extension of your heart, extending out to your hands. So when you open up your hands to your palms up, it feels very receptive, and it's linking to this openness in your heart that's moving through very gently and very softly. I feel like there's no rush. I feel like there is this sense of just sort of settling back and sitting back with this, and just letting flow, letting unfold kind of feeling. and your energy's feeling nice and peaceful and nice and calm and nice and receptive. So it feels really good. Let's grab a card here to see what this wants to add. And welcome. And the best card to add here for you, Jane. Don't usually see comments when I'm live. I wonder what's changed on YouTube since I streamed last. That's weird. Okay, Jane, your best card to add here at the end is from the first deck, and it is Spiritual Surgery card 46. So this highlights physical, well, most likely physical, but it could also be energetic healing that your body needs. Deep healing, energetic healing for your body, blockages and pain. Relax and allow healing to take place. Self-healing and support your body. So this is your body's need for healing, your body's need for nourishment, and probably your body's need for not necessarily rest, but it could be rest, but your body's need to just kind of settle back a little bit. And it feels very integrating, very embodying, like grounding as you settle into your body and give yourself the gift of that. So thanks, Jane. I trust this resonates and supports you, and thank you so much for your support. Okay, let's tuck these cards back and see who's next. So thanks, Jane. The next person on the list is this person. And it is Nicki Mohler. So Nicki, please take a nice big breath. And your best card to start this connection is this from the first Healing Energy Cards, deck 1. And it's reflection. So this highlights things coming together. So especially when things have been feeling scattered or unclear or messy or uncertain, there is this reminder with this card that things are coming together. And it can often mean that things are coming together behind the scenes, and you're being encouraged to trust in the bigger picture of things lining up at the moment. And it does feel like things are sort of lining up, things are coming together, like pieces of the puzzle are coming into view and finding their place here in this puzzle of things at this time. So take a nice big breath for me, Nicki. Actually, I'll just have a quick drink. Okay, Nicki, nice big breath. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing is this ring or this loop. It looks like a hula hoop, but a ring. It's right in front of you, and it's fairly large, so it's probably, 2 foot or something around, and it's just sitting here in front of you, and it's a golden ring, and it's sitting just here, and so it's very close. It's very close to you, and I feel like this is a ring. This feels like an opportunity of sorts, and it feels like this sense of coming together. And it's right here, like you could just reach out and grasp this ring and move through it. It feels like we need to move through it somehow to help you move through. So you move through first by bringing yourself to it and sort of bringing it forward. But maybe you're more bringing yourself to it as you tuck your head through, and then the rest of your body follows. So it feels like whatever this opportunity is and whatever this golden ring represents, feels like a golden opportunity. It feels like the O for opportunity, actually. And whatever this represents, I feel like there's this sense of getting on board first mentally. So wrapping your head around this opportunity feels like the first step, because you need to go through head first. But you need to also be willing to grasp and take hold of this as like something you deserve, something that's possible, something that you're not going to turn your back on or turn away from. So there is this first step of grasping and getting a grasp of this and getting a grasp of it mentally as well. So get wrapping your head around this. How's it going to work? What are the logistics of this? Things might be moving quite quickly. So is it moving too fast for you? Where are you at with this? Just really seriously thinking about it from all angles feels like the first step. And then once you've thought about it, you've got your grasp and you've got your grip on this opportunity, then you can dive in. The rest of your body will follow. And you might find that your sort of head's poking through for a bit while you wrap your head around it. And then once the clarity arrives, and once you determine what is best in this particular situation, then the rest of your body follows. So it almost feels like the slowest time is seeing this ring here and then getting a grasp and then pulling your head through. Like that feels like the slowest time, and it might not even be that slow. But once you determine, once you get your head wrapped around it, then the rest of your body follows. And I see you ducking through with the rest of your body through like a dolphin, swimming or flying, or not flying, but diving through a hoop or something. So you just dive through, then the rest of your body follows. And the rest of your body follows, I think that represents the bringing this into manifestation. So bring it into your physical life and sort of taking a risk and going for it. So there feels to be this sort of diving that is preparing to occur. I feel a lot of energy moving around your back with this, especially around your middle back down to your lower back. So the middle back is the back of your heart chakra, and the lower back is the back of your sacral chakra. So through these areas, it feels like there is old stuff from the past that's stirring, and it does feel a little heavy back there, almost like there's a shell or a coating or a covering of sorts over this back area of your spine and of your back. So we can also include the area just sort of below the back of your heart, which is the back of your solar plexus chakra as well. So the back of those three chakras, there is something connected with the back of your heart. So something personal, something close to your heart, something that deeply affected you from the past, something that took your power away in the past as well, that's connected here, and something deeply emotional that links in with the sacral chakra around the back of this area, so around your back. So this coating, this covering, I feel like it's almost like a guard that you've put up. You know, like say if you get a device or an appliance, and there's like in the packaging, there's like say a few buttons that they don't want pressed in the transport. So they have like a cover, and the cover protects those buttons from being pressed when it's moving. So then when you get this device or this appliance, you can take that sort of cover off. It's just a temporary cover to protect the fragile elements inside. That's what this feels like. It feels like a protective cover that's been put there to protect these sensitive parts. And this protective cover is getting ready to be removed, like it's getting ready to clear, because I feel like there is this sense that you've made a lot of progress, Nicki, in the last 6 months, probably this year, in really healing and making great progress with your healing and your releasing and giving yourself that permission to move forward, probably more in the last 6 months than you've been able to do in the last 6 years, is the feeling here. So letting this cover go and allowing yourself to dive through this golden opportunity that's before you. And golden opportunities don't come up that often in our life, so it's something to really take hold of and really seriously consider, is what I would suggest. So that feels really beautiful, and I trust that supports you, Nicki. Let's grab a card to add here. So the best card to add as we finish off this connection for you, Nicki, is this. It's from the second deck, Healing Energy Cards deck 2, and we have Coming Full Circle. And this is card 110, which is the last card in the deck. It's in the Rise category. And Coming Full Circle. I mean, we've got the full circle. This is interesting. It says the end of an old era and the start of a new era. So the end of something important, like a chapter, and the start of a new chapter. Life goes on. Endings are also beginnings. Completion, a new phase starts. bittersweet message and close the door. So there might still be some shedding and some releasing that's required as you find the courage to really dive into this golden opportunity that's before you. So there's strong message of love, there's strong support around as you prepare to start this new chapter of your life, Nicki. It actually feels very exciting. So thank you, and I trust this supports you. Thanks, Nicki. Okay, let's pop Nicki's name to the side, stick this card back, and take a drink. How is everyone doing out there in YouTube land? I have 4 more people on the list today. If you would like to be on the list next month, then please have a look at my Patreon page, and you can find the link in the video description if you would like to be a part of it. Or if you enjoy watching it, that's fine too. The next person is Cecile. Anne, welcome. Hi, Susan. Welcome. Anne, take a nice big breath and let's see what's loudest in your energy for today. The best card to start this connection is this from the first deck, and it's this, self-searching. So this is about looking for something, a quest for something, and it's usually comes back to us wanting to find ourselves. Ultimately, we might think, sometimes we think that we're looking for this and we're looking for that, but when we strip that aside, it's often us looking for ourselves. So there is this feeling here of quest, of search, of looking for something, looking for yourself for the most part. And one caution sort of with this card is let's be careful that we're not looking too far outside of ourselves for the answers or for whatever it is we're looking for, that we can find them inside. So there is this sense of handing the torch, handing the candle back to you, and for you to trust in yourself more, that you can find the answers or find yourself and that you're looking for, that you have the power and the ability to do that. So take a nice big breath, Anne, and let's tune in and see what's happening in your energy. So the first thing I see is a shadowy figure around you, and the shadowy figure feels like it's behind you and it feels masculine. So it feels male-like, but it's a shadow back here. So I'm just seeing a silhouette and a shadow. The head is slightly higher than yours, so it makes me feel like this is a taller person than you, or a taller being, and I can feel their energy sort of around behind your shoulders and up to sort of the top of your, or just below the top of your shoulders. That seems to be where this shadowy figure sits. It could also represent your own masculine side and the shadowy elements of that you're probably exploring at this time. And I do find as we're working, I've found personally, and when I've been working with others, that when we are looking for our balance, a big part of that balance, especially as we sort out our surface balance in life kind of thing, but when we want to take our balance deeper, we do tend to dive at some point into our masculine and feminine energy that we contain, whether we're male or female in the physical sense. So there is an internal inner masculine, and it seems to me for you, Anne, it feels like it's trying to get your attention, because it's actually quite, well, it's the most predominant, loudest thing that's got my attention here first. So it feels like a part of you, a strong part of you. It's like the masculine part of you. So it feels strong, it feels determined, it feels trusting, and it feels active. So it feels productive in many ways, or like a bit of a builder within you. And it feels like it's trying to get your attention. So it almost feels like I can feel its mouth moving, but I can't hear anything coming out. Like it's trying to speak, it's trying to get your attention. Maybe you're looking to others for this, when actually it's here. When you look in the mirror, you will see it and you will hear it. So its voice, its tone, its deep resonance of masculine sound and vibration feels like it sits here at your heart. So it might not be something that's heard with the ears, like you might hear someone speak, but something that's like a a deep resonance, a deep hum, a deep sound, a deep tone in the heart. And this is the energy of this masculine shadow, which feels like you're masculine trying to get your attention. So it's humming through your heart. It's coming from the back of your body through to the front in the heart. So it's like this deep, deep tone. So if you had a musical instrument or someone was toning, it would be this very deep, vibrating tone that's sitting in here at your heart. And as this tone comes through your heart, I can feel your heart kind of vibrate. I was almost going towards the sort of tremble, but I didn't really like the sound of that, which is why I paused there. But it's more like a vibration. So this really deep sort of, but almost slow vibration. As sounds are deeper, the vibration's slower. The higher the sounds, the higher and faster the vibration. So it feels like quite a deep, slow vibrating hum and tone here in your heart. So it's vibrating things, it's shaking things up here in your heart. And as it shakes things up, I feel it shaking off like bits of plaque and bits of gunk that have sort of stuck around your heart, like cased it in little bits of muck that have sort of sucked onto or stuck to the area around your heart. And this vibration, this tone is dropping away those bits of residue, and they're just dropping away like flaking off. So it's like if a bowl that we left outside had mud on it and it dried, and then we shook it and that mud will probably start falling away. That's what it feels like. So there's a covering here over your heart that's falling away as you allow yourself to connect with your masculine side and what this side represents for you, Anne. It is your strong side. It is it's the side that manifests things. It's the side that's determined and courageous and willing to try something. It's the side of you that's willing to take a risk and see what happens. And this strong side, and strong might not necessarily be the best word here, but none of these words probably are the best words, but this masculine strength, which doesn't feel dominant, it just feels like a confidence, like a clarity of sorts, a trusting in oneself, a believing in oneself. That's the essence and the depth of this masculine that I feel is trying to push forward, or is pushing forward currently. So it's pushing forward and it's making room in your heart for your masculine side, your masculine strength, your masculine power. So as this old energy's sort of shaking away, it's making room for itself to come forward. But there's also this need within you, Anne, to be allowing and welcoming of this as well. And be careful that you haven't had a tendency to push it away before and potentially push it away again. So it's when you integrate the healthy masculine strength with your healthy feminine strength, or even your healthy feminine vulnerability, which has strength in it, and these unite and they work together like the yin yang. So they bring the balance within us. When your feminine side is trying to be the masculine, it's trying to be the dominant force, it's like trying to embody the masculine but in an unhealthy way. So if you let the masculine be masculine, let the feminine be feminine, then they come together and unite, and their energies and strengths support each other, but also their strengths support the other's weaknesses, and they end up working together like this great union. There is some real power in that, and especially as you're looking for your balance and as you're looking for yourself, because I feel ultimately that's the underlying pull here for you, Anne, is this quest to find yourself. So I feel like a big part of this quest to find yourself at this time is to reconnect with your masculine and allow your masculine into your heart, feel its support and protection. And that's usually how it comes in at the beginning, is this sense of support, and it's a protective support. The feminine tends to be more of a nurturing support. whereas the masculine support is more protective. So if you've been feeling unsafe to be yourself, or if you've been in, say, unsafe places, or your protection is, you're questioning that at this time, then it's your inner masculine, when you embody that and connect with it, that helps you connect in with and tap into your, that protective support that you need, that protects you as you're moving forward in life in a different way than the feminine can do. That's the inner feminine. These are when they're in healthy alignment, a healthy balance. So I trust that makes sense to you, Anne. Let's grab a card to add here. And that best card is, it's this from the first deck. And we have Self-Love, card 7. So this says, spend time in reflection, silence, or solitude to help you connect with who you are. Make time to ground, meditate, or create support and love. So this is making time to really connect with you. But look, this figure is actually not dissimilar to that masculine shadowy energy I saw before. It's actually just a silhouette of a figure. It's the shadow of a figure. So in some ways, I feel like this is your masculine out here waiting for you to connect. It's out in nature, perhaps. It's out in that element of creating that you like to do, where you can tap into this masculine more and really get to know what your masculine side and the healthy side of it, what it means to you. There might be some insecurities and some shadows to clear first before you tap into that as well. So see how you go. And thanks so much, Anne. Thanks for your support. And I do trust this resonates and supports you. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks everyone. Let's see who's next. Okay, next person is this person. We have Carol White. Carol, please take a nice big breath and let's find the best card that you need to start this off. So I'm feeling a lot of energy moving around your shoulders, especially around the back of your shoulders at this time. So almost at the back of your heart, actually. So let's grab a card and then we'll see what this is about. And there's a heavy energy coming in around the head. So this is from the first deck and we have Heart Healing, card 29. So wrapping yourself in love. So there is a heavy energy that's coming through. So around the back of your heart, your shoulders here, and also around your head. And it feels like a pressure, almost like a cloak, a heavy cloak that's come in just around the back of your heart and over your head. And it feels dark. And there might be a part of you that feels like you want to hide away. I feel like I want to tuck this hood down over the eyes and just hide away for a bit. And sometimes we want to do that too. So there is this sense of tucking or ducking away, holding, hiding, stepping back, healing. And really this, I love this sentence, wrapping yourself in love. So it might be something to feel from this sort of tucking away feeling. Can you imagine that this is you wrapping yourself in love and the nurturing and the support that you need at this time? So holding you in that, but changing, because it feels like a dark sort of cloak kind of thing that you're tucking over. But I want to just shift the color of this into something more pinky, like a magenta-y pink, which is sort of a purpley pink, up into a really light pale pink, and feeling it soften as well, so it's less hard and stiff and heavy, like a heavy woolen, wet woolen coat or something, but it's lightening it up and softening it so it feels fluffier, feels more like a really soft blanket, perhaps like a baby's blanket, something really soft and gentle and nurturing, and bringing this, so almost transforming that heavy cloak into this soft, loving pink blanket to hold you. And as this energy shifts and as it becomes more loving blanket. It's moving energy across the top of your shoulders. So I feel like a strip. I want to pull a strip out on the right and a strip out on the left. And what do I mean by strip? I have no idea. It feels like perhaps like a strip of flattened metal, like a pounded flat strip of metal, bronzy sort of color, I guess. And it feels like a strip that's, I don't know, a strip through here. I can't. It's sort of hard to explain. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel very absorbent. It feels a bit repelling of things. Reminds me a bit of um, like a military person, how they have this sort of strips on their shoulders on their uniform. But it doesn't feel that type of fabric. So it feels very metallic, but very flat and shiny and smooth. So pulling that out, like strip and strip out, and just dropping those down to the ground. And with that, this blanket comes further over and further down your body as well. So now it feels like your whole body is wrapped in this really soft pink blanket, different shades of pink blanket, which is you being wrapped in love. And this is where we need to hold you. So holding you here. Now, as this energy holds, I want to just look a bit further and see what else we need to do while we're here. I feel like there's energy stirring in your hips, and it feels unsettling. Like there's some directional shift that you're maybe considering. There's some shifts that are occurring in your life, and you may be thinking of changing course, thinking of changing direction. As I talk about that, there's energy moving here in your throat. So there's probably things that you need to confront or things that you need to say, and maybe even decide before that you're willing to either do this or not. So there is an unsettling feeling in your hips, an unsettling feeling in your body, but just keeping on holding this love there in place, this blanket in place. I'm also being drawn down to your feet, and I feel like I want to put these really comfortable, almost the same feeling as this blanket around you, of like slippers over your feet, and really isolating or concentrating this energy to around your feet and bringing this love, wrapping this love and this support, this nurturing into the areas of your feet specifically. So this makes me feel that there's a call in your body for finding groundedness and slipping back and really reconnecting with your body and the physicality of things. Wrap yourself in love, heal your heart, let your walls down. It is safe for you to open your heart. To know your heart is to know yourself and softness. So holding you there, I feel like that's all we need to do today, Carol. Let's grab another card and see what this wants to add here. So the best card is this. It's from deck 2. And it's this. There we go. And that's pretty much the feeling. You know, this real, almost like your fetus position, really curled up and just almost pulling into yourself, wrapping yourself in this love. This is winter's hibernation, card 107. Now, it's important to say here that these periods are always temporary. It feels like I'm always going to feel like this, like just like I don't want to be a part of things right now in general, but it's always temporary. So it's like this temporary pause or this temporary time of healing, this temporary time of reconnection or of rebalancing, that sort of thing as well, receiving. It says body at rest, relax, heal, mend, switch off, take a break, slow moving, replenish your body, dormant, cave, seeds, waiting, seasons, and patience. I mean, what more is there really to say? This is a perfect card to support what I was saying. So enjoy being wrapped in love, Carol, and I trust it supports you at this particular point and then helps support you as you move into the next phase of your life. So thank you very much, and thank you for your support, and I trust this supports you. Thanks, Carol. Okay, let's tuck your name over there, pop these away. And let's see who's next. We have 2 more people on the list. Who is it going to be? It's this person. Next is Kanti. Looks like you're last, Susan, this time. I don't know if you're usually last, but thanks for being here and watching. Your turn will come. Kanti, your focus is now. So Kanti, take a nice big breath. And there feels to be something really quite enthusiastic happening. Something like a fire, a light under you, almost an unsettling but an excitement sort of feeling that I'm feeling, Kanti. But let's grab a card and then I'll tune in a little deeper. We'll grab this card for you, Healing Energy Cards and Deck 2, Ride the Wave, card 95. A wave of chaos and change. Ride it and do your best. So there's something antsy, something exciting, like bouncing beans, ants in your pants, something unsettling but also thrilling and exciting at the same time. There might be like, I can't really say anything right now, but I'm jumping with excitement. There's that sort of feeling as well. So almost like, not necessarily being gagged, but sort of like you're being gagged because it's just not the right time to say. So there is just this sense of excitement. In fact, sometimes we don't know what it is. Sometimes it's just a feeling, and it might be a precursor to something that's about to come, some opportunity that's about to arise, or some exciting thing that's about to open. And we don't know why, but we just sort of feel this anticipation, this excitement. So there's something really active in you. It feels to be especially sitting around your base chakra, around your tailbone. So really sort of under your backside, and lifting up through the tailbone of your spine. So this brings it really down into the ground. It brings it into physical. All that hard work that you've been doing, all the thinking, all the planning, all the logistics, all the legal things, that's all the heavy stress that's had to lead up to this point is lifted. And now you're at that point of, okay, how can I bring this into form? How can I best make the most of this? How can I create that I've been planning and logistically organizing to birth in my life? How can I bring this physically into play? Like, what's the setup? What's the next step? What's the plan on the physical side, in the physicality of this, that can help now bring this into manifestation? That's what it feels like. The energy that's kind of like jumping beans, it feels like little sparks of fire. So the fire element's quite strong. The fire element can be really quite constructive and creative, especially at this stage, because it feels like little sparks, like sparks, like you're trying to light a fire. So you're trying to light the fire somewhere, I feel, and the sparks are sparking. And where's the fire going to start? As in, where's it going to take hold? Where's this going to manifest? Where's the power going to land in what you're planning and wanting to do and have been preparing to do for so long? So this feels exciting. Now, obviously, it's quite strong, which is why I've been talking about it for so long. So let's also just expand from there. So I feel this energy like a surge of electricity going from your tailbone up your spine, and it's sparking up your spine. It's kind of feels electric, like these sparks of fire, but it's more like a little spark of electricity, but it's not necessarily a spark. It's more like a line of electricity, or like a line of lightning, but not so powerful as lightning, but electricity, and it's surging up your spine. And I feel like it's awakening things. It feels like very connected with the nervous system for some reason. I'm just really feeling this strong connection with this electricity and this sparking through your nervous system, up through your spine, and it's getting up to your heart. So it's going from your tailbone to your heart, up your spine there. So why is it stopping at your heart, or what's it doing in your heart? So the tip of it's moving to the heart. So and it's all at the back of the body, which is interesting. So up at your heart chakra, what's happening up here? Up here at your heart chakra, it feels more velvety, like a velvet feeling here in your heart. It feels regal or ancient or old-fashioned, this velvety feeling. The texture is so nice, like it feels very tactile here in your heart, and it feels very clear, so it doesn't feel like watery or anything like that. Like it has a really nice feel to it here in your heart, like you've really been sculpting away at this raw piece of stone for so long to really get to your heart and find your heart in the stone, but create something with the stone as you find your heart on your journey to get to your heart. You create this beautiful sculpture out of this raw chunk of stone. That's what it felt like before. Not that I felt that before, but that's how it feels before when I connect with it now. So like years ago, just a raw chunk of stone, and you've been wanting to get to your heart. So you've chipped away and really shifted things and moved things through your heart to get to that point of velvetiness in your heart, which feels so nourishing and lovely. So really sitting in that energy too of your heart, and it feels like it's the groundedness that helps ground the sparks and the enthusiasm and the sparking energy that's happening around your tailbone and going up to your heart from there through your spine. It's like your heart grounds that. So coming back to your heart with everything to make sure it feels right to move forward with, and really going with the flow of that feels like a great relationship that you've been working on improving and really listening to and trusting. It feels really nice, Kanti. Very nice. So let's grab a card here to add at this point. It just feels like I want to hold those feelings there, and maybe it was just about bringing these to your attention, but holding that feeling of spark and excitement, holding that feeling of velvetiness in your heart that helps ground those sparks, and just feeling into those and grounding those and embodying those just feels really quite sacred and really quite beautiful. And I feel like it's not something that's happened overnight, that you've worked really hard to get to this point in your life, and it feels rewarding, like personal reward. So the best card to add here for you, Kanti, is from the second deck, and it's this. It's Synchronistic Order, card 62. And it says constructed, built structure, hard work, durable and stable building, order, hindsight, looking back, stability and support. Actually, that's a really good word for your heart, stability. That velvet feeling in there feels very stable. Things are lining up and the signs. So this is highlighting things being in synchronistic order, and that this door opened at this time that led to this door, this door, this door, this door, or this thing, this opening, this opportunity. So things are lining up, and you can trust in the lineup. You can trust in the order of things and trust in those signs. So I trust this resonates with you, and thanks for your support, Kanti. Thank you very much. Okay, let's pop these cards back, and I'll connect with the last person for today. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm not finished yet. I'm just going to connect with Susan now. But if you have enjoyed this video and you'd like to be a part of it next month, please have a look at my Patreon page in the description below. I'll also be back tomorrow in about 23 hours from now with our other Patreon healing event for June. So thank you for joining me today. I trust you found this helpful and supportive in some way. So I don't know why I shake, because I don't need to shake. We've only got one person in here, and it's lucky last. It's Susan Sonsteng. Thanks for your patience, Susan, and it's lovely to connect with you, and it's extra special when you're here. So thank you very much. Let's grab you a card and see which card you need at this time, and then where we are going with your connection today. So the best card to start your time is this from the second deck, and it's this protected card 74. So this is like, well, this is a strength, stand strong, safety, protect yourself. And it's almost like this activation of a force field around you, an activation of protection. Now, the interesting thing with protective energy, how I see it, is it sort of has two functions. It's sort of, I imagine, like a protective shield to keep negativity or unwanted energies out. So it like keeps all that stuff out that is not in alignment with my highest truth when I'm doing this for me. The other function of this protective shield is to keep my energy nice and balanced and connected and grounded and whatever it is that I need at the time. So I don't want to be losing my energy or sending my energy out or attaching to other things and giving my power away. I don't want to be sending that out through this shield either. So I see it as a way to keep energy out, but also to keep energy in. So if I've created a nice space for myself in here, a nice balanced state, then I want to maintain that as best as I can and hold it for as long as I can. And then when things test it and it tips a bit, then I make some adjustments and get back into that balanced state. So the protective shield helps maintain the inner place as well as keep the outer energy, the unwanted energy out. So just something to add there. So Susan, nice big breath. And I'm being drawn straight down into your sacral chakra, and your sacral chakra, which is just below your navel. This is your center for emotional, sexual, creative energy. It feels like it's pulling across like on the horizontal. So what does that mean? It's like maybe if your sacral chakra was a balloon and it was a loose kind of balloon, not too loose, but somewhat loose and flexible. So it wasn't going to pop, but it felt like if we grabbed this balloon, we could sort of pull it across without it popping, because it's not really a balloon, but I'm just trying to explain it. So it feels like pulling this across. It feels very orange, and orange tends to be the color of the sacral chakra. So it feels quite clear is probably the best word I could feel for at the moment. It feels quite clear here in this area, but it does feel like it's stretching and expanding. So the capacity, if all of our chakras had sort of a capacity, it feels like the capacity of your sacral chakra, the energy it receives, is expanding. Now, when we store energy that's, say, a bottled up emotion or some issue or something, it can store in these areas of our body, and it tends to store heavy. So it tends to store down, and it becomes like a weight that feels heavy, and it can get very bloated, the feeling of it. But this feeling of a pulling along the horizontal makes me feel like your sacral chakra wants to expand. So I feel like emotionally, and we could also add into this creatively, intuitively, especially if you're an empath, because empaths who are sensitive to energy tend to be sensitive through feeling. So a lot of that empathy that we feel tends to be in our sacral chakra. Even though our psychic senses are linked to the third eye, I feel this is where we trust in our sensitivity or our ability to be intuitive, however our intuition speaks to us. So Susan, if you tend to be more empathic, this could also be linked in here as well, like a growing, a stretching of your intuition, an expansion of your intuition. So emotionally, creatively, intuitively, there is this expansion, like you're stretching out of your comfort zone. What I feel like coming to mind is actually that you've been flowing better. Finding your flow tends to sit too in the sacral chakra, actually. So this sense of flow, and I feel like there's this growing sense of flow inside you. So I don't know what has shifted. I don't remember what we did last month because I connect with a lot of people in between. So I'm not really sure, but I just feel like there's something that shifted in the last month that has opened you or has shifted in you, that has allowed you to expand more in this area, to expand more on the intuitive side, in the flowing side, perhaps creatively, perhaps emotionally. So this stretching feels like a growth and expansion. So as you're being pulled, your capacity to hold creativity, intuition, flow, all that sort of thing in your sacral chakra is growing. So this is stretching. And then what's the impact of this in your life? You might find yourself just feeling in general a sense of better flow, a stronger sense of connection with your intuition, and clearer emotionally. I'm taking my gloves off. I've suddenly got hot. I don't know really why. So there's a groundedness that's coming in now. So your sacral chakra is stretching this way, and now I'm being drawn to it, pulling down and pulling up actually. So we've got now, we're moving on the vertical. So pulling the energy. If it was a balloon, we've pulled it and it's sort of held this way. And now we're molding it. We're pulling your sacral chakra this way. So we're pulling up. I want to come back to the up because I feel the down is stronger at this time, and the down is pulling you down into the earth and helping ground this energy into the earth. If you've been creative, if you have this creative surge, or I'm not sure how active you are in your creative side, Susan, but I wouldn't be surprised if you've had a bit of a creative surge, or if you're exploring that a little bit further or a lot further, because that feels like a great way to ground this energy that's growing and expanding in your belly, is to create and really bring, translate that feeling, translate that intuition into something creative. Could be writing, could be art, it could be music. There's so many different creative things. That's not really that important to talk about now. But I feel this pull down. So you're being grounded here, and the pulling up feels a little fainter. So it's not quite as strong, but it's still pulling up. Now, as it pulls up, it's more like a wispier thread, whereas these other energies, the other three directions, feel more grippy, more graspy, more solid. But this feels more wispy, like a feather or a wisp of energy that's being pulled up in this area, and it's pulling up through these other chakras. So through your solar plexus, your power center, up through your heart, through your throat, and up into your third eye. And here it's become like more of a string. And I feel this string, it sort of pulls everything back, but also pulls everything into alignment. And this is what helps ground this energy, is your ability to trust in yourself, to trust in the flow, to trust in your intuition, and trust in the expansion and the growth of things. I feel the energy also moving down your from your hips, down your legs, and down into your ankles and down into your feet, to really help ground this energy too. So ground it physically so you can work with it and use it in your life. So again, this wispy energy is getting my attention. So here, it's pulling you straight. It's helping you with your connections to spirit and connecting with your intuition through your emotions. So through your feeling, through your empathy. Now the wisp is becoming even finer. It's like a strand of hair as it moves up through your third eye chakra, up to your crown, and comes out of your crown like just this fine thread of hair. And it's coming up through your crown and up to the universe above. So really helping, well, I don't know how a strand of hair sort of thickness is going to help strengthen your connections, but it is highlighting your connections. Your crown chakra is very buzzy and tingly right now. So something has shifted and opened through here, even though it feels fine. But the finest of threads can also carry a lot of energy, and there's something very delicate and fine. It might be, you know, sometimes when we're trying to find something like a feeling of connection or balance, just as an example, sometimes it can feel easy to find, like we're landing our feet on some very strong, big platform. And sometimes it can feel so delicate and fine to find, like the edge of a knife or the edge of something. And it feels quite fine, like there's something quite delicate and fine about the connections that you're making to spirit. It might not be strongly detectable by you, Susan, at this time, is your connections to things. In fact, you might be feeling a little disconnected at times, even though that connection cord is there. And in fact, it's harder to maintain a finer cord of connection than it is a bigger cord of connection, because it tends to sort of stay in place pretty well. I feel like your focus at this time is really in your body, and it's in your belly, it's in your emotions, your creativity, your intuition, your flow, that kind of thing, and how to work that and manage that and implement and apply and practically bring it into your life. And when you find that and it all settles into place, then that connection will expand and that connection will grow. So I feel it's just highlighting where the priorities are, which is in your body. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels very strong here. Let's grab a card to add at this point, Susan. So the best card to add here is, we'll grab this. It's from the first deck. And it's this Truth, the Sword of Truth. Speaking of the edge of a knife. It says the Sword of Truth, strength, cut through the illusion and negativity, protection. And you've got the other protected card, courage, personal power, confront your issues and see the truth. So that's interesting. You've got a double protection card coming in here. So maybe what I mentioned before was important about the keeping unwanted energy out, but also keeping the good energy in. So maybe that's something to play with and explore and feel for what your truth is in that as well. Because, you know, it's easy to say and maybe think, well, it's real for me because I've tried it and it works for me. But if you've never tried it before, it's probably something worth attempting and seeing if it also works for you, or you need to tweak it or change it a bit as well. So the truth will keep you protected. So if you're feeling sensitive, which is not surprising with all this activity in your sacral chakra, there might be a sensitivity that you feel too. So feeling sensitive and vulnerable also tends to be why we want to enforce our protective shield. So maybe keep yourself protected while you explore the pushing and the pullings of your sacral chakra, your emotional, creative, even your sexual energy as well, maybe something that you're exploring, your intuition, your flow especially. So see how you go with that. And thanks so much, Susan. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for your support. Thanks for your support, Susan. And thank you for being here, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you again tomorrow for our Healing List event. So take care and goodbye for now. Thank you very much. Thank you.